Okay, so it's safe to say that everyone in the Transformers comic community knows me as the guy who hates Robert Kirkman because he ruined Transformers for all of time. Alright, jokes aside, I have been pretty harsh on the first 3 issues under Robert Kirkman's penmanship, and I know it's easy for negativity to take a stranglehold on all of us, especially on the internet. And so I wanted to make a video where I discuss the things that I've been genuinely enjoying in issues 25 through 27. I'm going to do my best to leave the criticisms at the door, as my videos covering these issues, primarily 26 and 27, already do a good job of explaining them, but I'm sure a little feedback will pop up here and there. Additionally, I'd like to see from you guys in the comment section below on what you've been enjoying since the switch over in writer and artist as well. Speaking of art, I have come to really enjoy Dan Mora's take on this world. Without a doubt, Daniel Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona had a much more stylized approach to drawing these characters, but Mora's direction is a much more grounded and consistent look. I will admit that at first I did not like the new art direction, not because I felt it was done poorly, but simply it was not as stylistic. But now that time has passed, and I've had more pages to look at, I really do actually enjoy the direction of these designs. There's a newness and a sleek shine to everything that really does go along with the new age that the story is representing. And characters don't look so drastically different from the previous 24 issues that there's any confusion as to who is who. I am definitely interested to see who will be doing the art on the book moving forward after Dan Mora has completed his 6 issues on the title. I hope that whoever is chosen can continue to keep a consistent feeling while also bringing their own spin on things. This is because one of my biggest criticisms of the IDW comics is that it felt like the art styles were clashing with each other many times and very frequently. As for the story, I am incredibly grateful and must give props to Kirkman himself for coming right out of the gate and saying that this was not a restart of the universe. He very vocally talked about how displeased he always is when a new writer takes over a comic and undoes the work of the previous writer. Now, this is where we get into some deep waters. As some would say, he is undoing many aspects of Daniel Warren Johnson's story by bringing certain characters back to life. And for the most part, I will disagree in saying that reviving a character does not immediately undo what has happened in the past, for the most part, as long as it is done correctly. But again, I'm trying to just focus on the positives here, so I need to stay on topic that Kirkman has done a good job by not simply hitting reset on the entire universe and throwing away every single aspect of DWJ's story. I'm happy that plot threads such as General Flag and Ultra Magnus have been kept around, or the fact that Megatron has been granted mysterious powers from an unknown benefactor. Now, have these story threads been handled in the ways I was hoping? Well, as I said before, this video is focused on the positive, so I think it's best if we just leave it at that. Kirkman's dedication to the Energon universe as a larger canvas is something that I really enjoy. And so I am happy that Kirkman is taking the Transformers comic and bringing it into the Energon universe fold. It's always been an aspect of this universe, but it really did feel like the most disconnected from the other titles, just because the story that Daniel Warren Johnson was telling was so hyper-focused and centralized. Again, that's totally okay. So I'm happy that other aspects from the sister comics of G.I. Joe and Void Rivals are slowly being intertwined into this comic so that everything is a little more tightly knit together. Overall, the teams on all 3 of these comics have done a great job in making sure that the stories are interconnected but are not required for each other in a 100% capacity to understand what's going on. I still believe that reading all 3 titles is a good idea to get even more out of each comic on its own, but it's not to the point where it is required that you read G.I. Joe to understand Transformers and then to understand Void Rivals and so on and so forth. So I really respect the balance that they've been able to bring here. Furthering that point is the introduction of Mask. I am all for the addition of more Hasbro properties into the Energon universe, as long as they're done in a smart and cohesive and comprehensive way. I do not think that Mask should have its own comic series. No way. Not ever. 3 different comic series to follow is enough. And to be quite honest, the lore and characters of Mask, I don't fully believe are strong enough to hold themselves together as its own series. I think these characters work perfectly as a little bit of added flavor to the current ongoing series. I say all that, and of course I do have to mention that Robert Kirkman has successfully taken one of the most unknown characters from Transformers and made him into my absolute favorite character in this entire Energon universe, that being Skuxoid. But even then, I think 3 titles is enough. But yeah, I would buy a Skuxoid standalone comic. How could I not? While I have been hypocritical of the dialogue in these more recent issues, I am still very pleased with the general direction of a few main characters, such as Optimus Prime and Elita 1. Optimus continues to be a strong leader who has a great amount of tenderness to himself when speaking with his own troops and his enemies. He is constantly showing that he's trying to be better than those he opposes, and that at the end of the day, he is trying to end the war, not definitively win it. Something that obviously is causing some friction within the Autobot faction, which I really enjoy, especially coming from Wheeljack and Ultra Magnus. As for Elita 1, I'm very pleased that Kirkman has not shied away from making her an antagonist to Cliffjumper and really Optimus in general. Plenty of people are still angry that she is a vengeful character, hell-bent on saving Cybertron no matter the cost, even if that cost is the destruction of Earth. Plenty of people would prefer that she just be Optimus Prime's girlfriend and nothing more, and I can honestly think of no worse way to utilize this amazing character. Let her be an antagonist to our protagonists, something that does not immediately make her evil simply, but makes her an opposing force that will have to be overcome. I really hope that Kirkman does not cheap out on us and just have her change her mind and simply come back into the fold of Optimus Prime's gang. Please continue to make her an unstoppable force to go against Optimus Prime as an immovable object. Speaking of strong characters, I'm very happy to see that Ultra Magnus and RC continue to have a relationship worth discovering. I've always felt that these two characters have had some of the most intriguing plot lines throughout this series, and I'm glad that they were not simply dropped for whatever reason. I really do like the idea that Magnus is a title that can be bestowed upon someone. We saw this in Transformers Animated, and we've actually kind of already gotten a little hint of this with the Tryon name in the past, as it's used for a title of wisdom. As I said in my issue 27 review, personally, I hope that Ultra Magnus is not some little dude sitting inside a large suit of armor, as we saw in IDW. While that idea is intriguing, I don't think it really works out in the long run, and I would prefer that Ultra Magnus just be a big dude. After all, we've seen his skeleton, so I would imagine he is just that, a huge dude. However, I will admit that if he sheds his armor and underneath we find the classic white Optimus Prime chassis, yeah, I'm going to eat that up, and I'll eat my hat and label myself a hypocrite, as it really would be an awesome moment. So those are just a few things about Robert Kirkman's Transformers that I do actually enjoy. Again, this does not mean that my criticisms against the comic right now are moot. This does not mean that I'm changing my mind and that I'm going to change my score that I gave on the Teletran Tapes podcast. No. My opinions still stand about this comic and the direction it's going. But I wanted to take the time to just focus on some of the positives. Again, it's the internet. It's the Transformers community. There's a lot of negativity. And I don't want my criticisms to come off as sounding as me just absolutely hating on something because it's not exactly what I want it to be. I have criticisms, a lot of them, more than I do things that I love. But I don't hate this comic. I love this comic. I mean, after all, my channel is, for the most part, dedicated to the Energon universe. I even have a second channel where I cover other Energon universe titles like Void Rivals and G.I. Joe. Go check that out if you haven't yet, please. Thank you. So, yeah, I still love the Energon universe. I still love this comic. It's got a lot of things in it that I'm not super happy with. But that's why this video was really just focused on the things that I am really enjoying, and that truly, honestly, and genuinely, I am very thankful for. I still think that this comic is some of the best Transformers story that we've gotten overall. Might be a little bit of a low point right now, but that's okay. I have hope for the future. I think things will pick back up. The Energon universe and Transformers and G.I. Joe and Void Rivals, they're going to be around for a long time. Robert Kirkman's not letting go of this franchise anytime soon. Maybe we'll see a new writer. We're going to see more artists, so I'm really looking forward to the future of this series. See you guys later.